Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Varus top build, and today we're going to be taking a look at Varus with Spear of SHOJIN. Now we've done this build before, but in the one that we did build Spear of SHOJIN as the last item, so it did look like a bit more like this, right? I think this was somewhat of the build, and we didn't actually get to see the Spear of SHOJIN really in action, so this time we're actually building it earlier like so. And I don't think the top people are using this build anymore. The top three are not, but at the time of the gameplay, I believe this was the build used by the second or third ranked Varus, and I decided to give it a try myself, same as how we decided to give a try for the Awakened Soul Stealer, and we found that it wasn't very good. With this one, I actually do think it's pretty good. So I will, of course, more on that on the gameplay later on. But the build is honestly pretty standard. Of course, you have the Gluttonous Greaves for the AD and Omnivamp. You have Essence Reaver for the empowered, first ability, most for the most part for the wave clear and the poke. Then you have Triforce just as a great stat stick, as well as getting the Spellblade for extra damage, as well as of course the movement speed stats. And then Spear of SHOJIN. So what does this do, right? It gives you 300 max health, which is it makes you really tanky, especially combined with like Triforce and Riftmaker's health. Then you get 50 AD, which is a really decent amount of AD. You have 25 ability haste, which is really quite a lot. And then you have the Dragon's Awakening passive, which whenever you use your ulti, it will increase or decrease the cooldown of your basic abilities and give you movement speed as well. And when you get takedowns, this refreshes for another, I believe it's 4 more seconds. So I think this is just a better version of the Soul Stealer build, because once again, the Soul Stealer build does give you a lot of ability haste on your third item as well. And of course, your first two items are the same. But with this one, you get health and AD instead of getting like AP and stuff. So with this you actually deal a lot more damage, and I think it's just a better version of that build. And then of course you have your usual suspects of Riftmaker for the Omnivamp, as well as the true damage, as well as of course more reminder for the armor pen and the grievous wounds. And for the runes, once again, of course, you have Phase Rush just for that even more cooldown on your abilities, as well as the movement speed. And then you have your standard ADC loadout of Brutal, Giant Slayer, as well as Alacrity. And you have Bone Plating as well for the defensive capabilities. And then you have your spells flash together with Ghost majority of the time. Of course, to help you kite around in fights. Of course, you could go for Exhaust if there are a ton of assassins as well. But with all that said, let's move on to talking about the gameplay. Alright, so now let's move on to the gameplay and see how this build actually works. This time, of course, be building the Spear of SHOJIN as a third item. Of course, we are actually going to reach it. Although in the last video we did reach it as well, but the game was basically over by that point, and it didn't really make too big of an impact. But this time, it will, and of course, I will be sure to point out when we have the Spear of SHOJIN and when we, of course, use it. Now, I was meant to take Ghost in this match, but I had switched over to Exhaust in a previous match where there was a lot of assassins, and I wasn't able to switch it back in time when I was changing my loadout, because I believe I was the last pick in this match, if I'm not mistaken. And as a result, we are now stuck with the Exhaust instead. Now, Exhaust is not useless. It's not the most useful though, but it will be good against Mordekaiser and Vi, I guess you could say, but not the most useful against the rest. So here against an Alistar, you always want to bully him level 1, because he basically can only either take his Q or his W level 1. He can't actually combo you, so he's either going to shove you away like what he did to me just now, or he can at most just knock you up, in which case you just have to space away from him and he can't actually do anything. So, you always want to bully him as much as you can before he hits level 2 and before he can actually pull off a combo on you, which is what he's probably looking to do right now. And yeah, there we go. The combo goes in. Vi is actually here now, so I'm going to actually flash away to make sure I don't get chain CC'd by the Vi. And now we just continue on our poking and our auto attacking. Of course, now it's a little bit more difficult because we do have to play around Alistar's cooldowns. Otherwise, we can't get chain CC'd by Alistar and then into a Vein Condemn into the wall and then probably die thereafter. So we do need to be really, really cautious of that, especially. However, the good thing about this is that Alistar is not very tanky before level 5, because a lot of his tankiness comes from his ultimate. So before level 5, he is actually, I wouldn't say easy to kill, but he is in a way easier to kill than after level 5, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So there definitely is some potential for something to get done, especially because Vayne is not the strongest early game champion, especially not compared to Varus. Karma with First Strike also is pretty strong in the early game with her mantra Qs, so we definitely do have an advantage in the early game. I'm not sure, Alistar maybe was trying to combo us there, but ended up just pulverizing the floor. So here, we do have the wave shoved in, and we can just look for a reset to just get items. However, since the enemy team is not resetting, they will be able to actually shove in our wave, and that's exactly what they're doing here. Actually, they are interrupting Karma, who was trying to reset, but now is at critical HP. She does get the fruit though, and she is fine now. I think that the enemy team here, I'm not sure if this was a mistake or not, because I do believe it's a mistake considering they can't actually kill Karma, but now they've missed their reset window, and now Vayne's trying to reset, but we interrupt her reset, and she actually flashes away. So she blows her flash, and she exhausted Karma just now, so she doesn't have any summoner spells left. Alistar though does have an exhaust of his own instead of an ignite, which is what we usually see for Alistar. So you know, they still can exhaust us. It's just they have a lot less kill potential without the ignite. And as you can see, the tempo that they lost allowed us to get not just one plate, but actually two plates. And that's a huge goal injection for us, because that's basically almost like a kill. And now the minion wave has crashed under the tower, which means that it will bounce back out, because the tower is going to actually get rid of the minion wave. Now the cannon is coming in. I'm just going to quickly clear it. Now something I could have done is actually frozen the cannon outside my tower, but I believe that my wave would have killed it before the next wave came in, so I didn't think that that would really achieve anything. And here, we're all still pretty even in the sense that everyone is still 0-0-0, aside from the fact that, of course, they are now engaging on us. And we saw Vi coming from the right hand corner. Veigar turns out to be here as well. We get the Chain of Corruption onto Vi, and we're trying to snipe her out. We do get the snipe and reduce half of her HP, but obviously we're not going to take a 2v4, so we are just going to retreat. We do still have a decent goal advantage against the Vayne due to the tower plays that we took just now. However, Morgana actually is getting caught out under tower, but is able to trade the kill onto the Vine. Now we're on the chase. Shyvana goes in onto the Veigar. I flash over, secure the kill onto the Veigar, and go onto the Vayne. Vayne is pretty low as well, condemns Shyvana away, but Shyvana's red buff is able to pick up the kill just as my face rush procs, which allows me to go back to the wave and clear it. So pretty nice chain of events. Their enemy team was not able to successfully form and gank us, which then led to my team eventually responding and us picking up some kills. Now the main issue here is that I don't actually have any mana. I don't have blue buff either, so I'm gonna have to reset even though Dragon is up, because without mana I'm not the most useful. So I have to reset. I pick up Essence Reaver and I'm running back to the Dragon in case there is a contest. However, as of now, it appears that the Vi has gone for the Rift Herald because she's not at the Dragon, so we do get that one for free. Shyvana is pinging to attack the Rift Herald, but I'm thinking if Vi was doing it, we won't actually make it there in time. We'll have to see about that. Yep, they do end up getting the Rift Herald. However, the tower here is left unattended by Vayne and Alistar, so this then allows us to pick up another plate, which of course these plates are adding up, and we do have like over 1,000 gold lead on Vayne at this point. And the issue with like the mimics is that it's really hard to prevent them from hitting the tower and getting plates. Here Alistar engages, but Vayne is nowhere close. We actually out Alistar and then Karma outs Vayne. Sorry, we out Vayne here, and then we eventually get the kill onto Vayne, and then now it spreads to Alistar. And then we are trying to take down Alistar. He's way too tanky. Now here, Karma messes up, right? Because here what happens is Karma straight up just drops tower aggro and leaves me there to die when she should be tanking the tower to let me kill Alistar. Considering that Vi was coming, I would definitely be dead. Even if Vi didn't come, I think I would die to tower anyway, but trading one for one with the kill on Alistar is alright in my opinion, and Karma would have probably died to Vi eventually, but at least we would have gotten the kill. Compared to what just happened here, which is that we both died and we didn't get any kill in exchange, which of course is not ideal whatsoever. So now, off of the death, we are coming back to lane, and we are still in a really good spot. Of course, over Vayne, we still have a huge goal lead, so we don't really have to be overly afraid. Honestly, if Alistar engages on us. So long as we don't get chain CC with a condemn into the wall, I believe we still win the fight against Vayne. You can see that Vi is hardcore camping us. We exhaust her. She goes onto Karma. I'm trying to trade the kill, but the ult kind of whiffs from me, and nothing too much really comes of it. Just a few blown summoner spells and a few blown ultis on both sides. So Set is now waiting in the bush here. I'm going to one-shot this wave more or less using my Q and shove it in. And maybe we can try to force a tower. Set is still hiding in the bush here. The enemy team probably is none the wiser. And now we get the tower. Vi is now coming in. Set ults the Alistar back. Shyvana takes him out. And Set tries to go for the flash W, but unfortunately he is not able to reach. However, fortunately, Karma is able to speed me up, and my E is barely able to clip the Vi to secure the kill. So now I'm 3-1-3 in a pretty decent spot at this point. And we can now take a reset and complete our items. So here, a couple item components for Triforce in the bag. And looking at the grand scheme of the game now, we are in a really decent spot. Shyvana has the most gold in the game, followed by myself. Veigar is really kind of catching up to us though. However, he is a scaling champion and he does have a Rod of Ages, so he will take some time to, become a problem. But when he does, he's definitely going to be a big problem. And yeah, so here in the mid lane, Shyvana is getting, Set is getting jumped on. And here we're trying to save him. We actually do manage to save him and kill Alistar instead. And now we're going on to Vayne. Vayne has to run for the hills, takes a huge chunk. And Set is able to survive for a really long time and able to let us reach the vicinity to actually save him. Here Vayne was trying to back, but obviously you can't be backing there when there's a Karma and a Varus who has range to actually stop you from backing. So finally we are able to complete our Triforce. Pretty standard first second item combination for Varus. And now we're headed back out to clear the top lane. Again, I mention this very often, but you always want to be clearing your lane before you roam, especially after you get the first tower, because if you don't, the enemy's just going to get your tower and then it's going to be pretty much equalized, and you don't want that to happen. You want to maintain your lead. However, in the mid lane, Set as well as Shyvana are both dying right as the dragon is spawning, so this dragon is going to be really, really difficult to contest, if we're even going to contest it at all. So here, Varus is one of the ADCs that are the best at stealing dragons. So here I'm literally just, I have a ward in the dragon pit area. So I'm just standing here, I'm just looking at the ward and seeing who is in the area. Of course, we can see Veigar and Alistar. So here I'm actually scrolling the replay to let you guys see what I can see in the game. So I can see them starting out the dragon. And here I'm just waiting for an opportunity to perhaps try to snipe and steal the dragon. So here I'm charging it up, and I just launch it, and I actually get the dragon pretty much blind, and that was just a... Honestly, it was just a lucky shot. Of course, I did try to mentally kind of estimate what kind of HP the dragon is at, and of course that is a skill that you will build up over time as you try to steal more and more objectives. But of course, for every time that I do get the steal, there is another time that I don't get the steal, so it's sort of just a little bit of a luck element as well as a skill element involved in stealing. So we actually do get the steal on the dragon, which means that Soul is still on the cards for my team. And the best part about these kind of steals is that it really pisses the enemy team off, right? Because you've killed the top laner and the jungler. The jungler is not even in the area. It's basically a free objective, right? But an arrow comes out of nowhere and steals it, and they're going to be pinging their jungler. They're going to be pissed off. And here, Karma gets ulted, unfortunately, and here I'm not able to escape, unfortunately, and I do end up getting shut down here. But yeah, that was a pretty insane steal, if I do say so myself. It was pretty much mostly blind. I couldn't really see the health of the dragon at the very end, so I was just kind of just estimating and just launching a fully charged Q with the W empowerment into the pit, and I've actually stole objectives like Baron, and even Elder Dragon like this so many times as Varus. I personally think Varus is the best champion to steal objectives with, better than like a Jinx ult or or whatnot. So here we are on the way to completing our Spear of Shojin. Already have the BF sword component of it. We also pick up a QSS because the Veigar, Alistar, Vi, a lot of CC, they have been a problem. And looks like there is a fight happening at the bot lane. And of course, I'm one of my team's main sources of damage. So I have to get myself there so that my team doesn't just lose out the fight due to lack of damage. And here I'm making it there. Vi is really low, so I'm just gonna one shot her real quick. Here, Mort actually ults me. I'm gonna ult him back, and I probably can kill him. Yeah, I do end up killing Mordekaiser inside of his own ulti. Pretty embarrassing for Mordekaiser. If you ever ulti someone as Mordekaiser and they kill you in the ulti, that is just the worst, right? Because it basically meant that you contributed your ultimate for them to kill you, which is just horrible, right? So here, we're gonna start with Baron. Of course, the enemy jungler is dead. Everybody else other than Vayne is low or dead, so it's pretty much a free Baron for us at this point. I spot a pretty huge bot lane wave. However, Set is gonna go for it, and I don't really want to compete with him for farm. So instead, I'm just gonna go ahead and farm the jungle. I am really close to getting Spear of SHOJIN, which is why I'm just trying to farm it up here instead of just backing with my team. Issue is that I'm losing a lot of tempo because the Baron is already in the middle of the mid lane, and I have yet to even reset. Now I'm quickly resetting, completing the Spear of SHOJIN, and here we have the Spear of SHOJIN online, and we can see how it works for the remainder of the match. Of course, Spear of SHOJIN is generally a fighter, like a top lane item. Mostly ADCs don't really build Spear of SHOJIN, but Varus is definitely an ADC that can build Spear of SHOJIN, especially considering how he has a lot of base stats and doesn't really need a lot of items for the most part to really do a lot of damage. So here, for some reason, the whole enemy team is clearing bot wave, and we're pushing in top and mid. So I'm not sure what the enemy team is really doing here, but they are definitely not playing macro very well. Shyvana is getting the top push in, we're pushing in the mid lane, and we're just pushing on two lanes, pretty standard fare. However, Set is dead though, so we do have a little bit of pressure lost in terms of our push. And the push is kind of stalling a little bit. Ulti goes in onto the inhibitor tower, but it's not really doing a lot of damage. Now, I'm not sure what Vi is doing here. She tries to engage on the backline, but it doesn't really work. Huge tail swipe by the T-Hex to keep the backline safe from Alistar. Alistar finds himself alone. And here, unfortunately, I get one shot by Veigar because I stepped onto the cage and got CC'd. Didn't have QSS at that point, and I'm taken out. However, the bot lane inhibitor does go down, and the mid lane inhibitor is soon to follow. Top lane has a huge wave crashing in as well. I honestly feel the T-Hex should have gone to the top lane and tried to go for the inhibitor. However, of course, I guess the T-Hex runs out. And Set is soloing the dragon for now. Shyvana comes over to help, and looks like we are going to be able to get the Ice Dragon Soul off of the two dragons that my team took and the one that I stole. And we do look like we're in a pretty good spot as a team. We're close to a 10k goal lead against the enemy team, and the game should more or less be in the bag so long as we don't, of course, throw the game or make any egregious error. So now we're just going to quickly grab any farm we can get. The next objective is going to be Baron spawning in 40 seconds. Of course, Elder Dragon still a couple of minutes away. So in the meanwhile, we're just trying to, of course, just get farm and get items. Of course, when you're an ADC and you have nothing to do, you always just want to look for farm. Now, unfortunately, Morgana steals the red buff and doesn't let me have it, which is pretty unfortunate. So here we're just hovering around the set, because a possible fight will, of course, break out when you're pushing in. And honestly, a fight here is pretty pointless. Like, we can't really do anything except push in waves and get farm. Because obviously, it's going to be impossible to really end the game. Unless, like, a huge fight breaks out and the enemy team all dies. So here I'm trying to set a trap for the enemy team. We're 5 people standing in the bush. And I guess Karma is the bait. So here, we spring the trap, and Veigar and Alistar are getting caught. I am really slow in the QSS there. I'm in a 1v1 against Mordekaiser again in the ulti. This time, I look like I'm about to die. However, I am able to kite him out, and I am able to pick up the kill with 1 HP left. Now, in this situation, only Veigar and Vayne are left. And we are going to be able to go to the Baron and get that one. So, I will say that the Spear of SHOJIN movement speed there that I got when I ulted the Mordekaiser came in really, really handy to kite him out and leave his passive zone. If I didn't have that, I may not even have survived the Mordekaiser ult. because I would have been blasted by his passive, that circle that does damage over time around me. And yeah, so you can see how it really comes in handy, that movement speed. And of course, the basic ability cooldowns is going to be really good as well. Now at this point, we finally gotten the Baron, and we're going to push the last lane that has an inhibitor tower. As Elder Dragon is about to spawn in 40 seconds. Now it appears that our set has AFK at our blue buff, which is not very good. He is now just recalling because, yeah, that's what the game makes you do when you're AFK. And here, we're trying our best to get this inhibitor, but the enemy team is of course not letting us. The good news is that all the other lanes are pushing in with super minions, and enemy team has to go and deal with them, especially the bot lane where there's a huge super minion wave. However, I do want to play safe. I don't want to play overly aggressive, and I'm realizing that we can't really get the inhibitor. And once again, Morgana steals the red buff, not just from me, but from Shyvana this time as well, which is insane. So here I'm realizing the problem, which is that we can't really end the game, so we kind of need the Elder Dragon. So here we're actually going to do the Elder Dragon as the TX is basically distracting the entire enemy team. And now we've got the Elder Dragon in hand, now the game changes. I'm coming to help my T-Hex. And here we're attacking the first target, which is going to be Vayne, gets one shot by the Elder Dragon basically. With the movement speed from the phase rush, we're able to avoid the Veigar cage. And all our minions are pushing in on all lanes. And Alistar goes ahead to combo me, but yeah, he's alone for now. Vi tries to ult me, but I go unstoppable, and I ult her using the Spear of Shojin movement speed and basic ability cooldowns. We're able to launch more abilities, and here proc the Elder Dragon a couple of times, and refresh our Spear of Shojin cooldown as well. And here at this point, the game is pretty much won. One last snipe on the Veigar for the triple kill, and we finish off the game. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the gameplay. I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.